Zimbabwe.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Holy moly, Zimbabwe.
What are you more excited for, tonight's game or the return for one night and one night only of Jerry Reynolds doing the telecast? The lead analyst for the Kings tonight. Make sure that you get NBC, California, blah, 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 wherever you watch it. Someplace else but ESPN. Make sure you are tuned into it. Apparently, we are not the only ones. I am not the only one that's excited for it. I told you yesterday we had a surprise that you would be really happy. And that's what it was. It got announced earlier this morning. Doug Christie was speaking about it before the game.
Other job you had, Jerry Reynolds is actually filling in tonight on the broadcast.
Ooh, high
How
level.
excited
Wow.
are you to hear
I didn't know that. He texted me the other day. Oh man, my guy. Unfortunately, I'll be working, but I would like to hear it because man, an absolute basketball god. I love the man to death, man. He's big time. So yeah. Wow. Okay. All right.
Acknowledge me.
Oh, is he? Okay. I don't know if you can ever call Jerry a fill-in, first of all. So let's get that straight. But okay, yeah.
Doug, that other job you had.
Did you hear the media
Jerry
room?
Reynolds is
They were like, whoa, that's deep. Anyways, we get you ready for it. Thanks for being here. Huge night, by the way. Ended tonight. The Kings could have the 9 seed in the play-in wrapped up. Kings win and Dallas loses. Right now, Luka Doncic is going nuts in Dallas. He is having himself a game as you expected. Mavericks down 9 at the moment in the third quarter. So that would lock you into the 9. The Kings for sure are going to be in the play-in, though. We'll give you all the scenarios on the other side. Get up in here. Give us a call. We will get you ready for the Kings and the Nugs back at the crib for the last time, this last homestand this season. So enjoy it. Here we go.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now.
You won't be seeing much of him tonight. We'll get into it. You already know the news. Haunted Horse, didn't you just finish a show? Are we going to do this on this platform, on this night? Kings Nugs, happy to have you here. Ryan in Sacktown with you. Let me know where you're watching the show from, what you're expecting tonight. You can call the show, put your messages in the chat. We'll get to them here in a few minutes. Let's do the rundown. Kings, Nugs, you know, the Kings are going to be without Keegan Murray again tonight. That is a big one to me. You remember, this is actually the second game Keegan Murray will be missing against the Nuggets this season. The first was a problem for the Kings right out of the gate. They put DeMar DeRozan on Aaron Gordon, and it looked like the JV team versus the varsity team down low. So we'll see how Doug Christie adjusts to that. Now, conversely, I'll give you a big but there.
But
Jamal Murray is doubtful for tonight. When I went to air, it wasn't updated quite yet, but he has missed the last few games. So I would expect him to be out as well. That's Jerry Reynolds doing the game tonight. Maybe the Kings are pranking us. Is it that Jerry Reynolds? I think it's that Jerry
Holy
Reynolds.
moly, Zimbabwe.
As we said at the top, though, in all seriousness, Jerry, after intense negotiations between If You Don't Like That and the Sacramento Kings, we found some middle ground and decided that we would allow Jerry to go broadcast tonight. Really cool. Watch that one. Enjoy that one. I personally hope he's doing the game with drapes. That would be my hope. We will see. We talked about the Kings and their playoff positioning right now. A win tonight, a loss by Dallas tonight puts the Kings at the 9 seed and hosting the first play-in game, meaning they would have to beat the loser of the 7-8 game as well. We don't really need to run through this play-in. We've got 3 games to get up to it before then. This was the injury report as of yesterday. And then there was some bizarre news, right? The Kings signed Terrence Davis. And we're like, interesting. The Kings signed Terrence Davis. We don't have an update on Malik Monk yet. Well, sure enough, it dropped, and it was exactly what most of us were expecting. It was my first reaction when I saw the signing of Terrence Davis. Malik Monk is going to be out for at least 2 weeks. In fact, he won't be reevaluated for another 2 weeks, meaning the Kings are pretty much in the exact position they were last year at this time, where Malik Monk wasn't sure if the Kings could get to a playoff series, if he would be able to play. But he's done, as from now, 2 weeks at least until he is reevaluated on the calf, which is definitely a game changer for this team. And the one thing that I kind of pointed out on the Kings court earlier today is I really don't know what to expect from the Kings and how they're going to play it. I know they played most of the game without him before, but my expectation is if this team's going to be successful, the pace that this team plays at needs to be closer to a Zach LaVine pace rather than a DeMar DeRozan pace. Let me know about your thoughts on that in the chat. We'll get to them here in a few minutes. In fact, let's check in with all of you right now. We did have shoot around earlier today. Domantas Sabonis spoke to the media. Here's what he had to say.
The 3-3 trip for you guys.
We obviously ended up on a great note, but we obviously could have done a better job as well. But things are clicking now, so we just want to keep riding the win.
Getting in the playing tournament now, you guys kind of have that locked up. What kind of mindset does it change at all over this next year?
We just want to play at home. We want to play home in front of our fans. Give them one more game at least, and the goal is to win and carry on going forward.
Acknowledge me at this point.
For sure, yeah.
What's up, Oscar?
We need 1 or 2 more games, to get that 9th seed, and it starts with tonight.
Yes.
How important is this to play well the last 3 games at home to have that momentum into next week?
It's big. It's big.
No.
Everyone's feeling better, good. So we just got to keep riding this way, like I said before. And we play tough teams. Everyone's fighting for something.
Have you ever seen?
No, of course. We do not have Jerry under contract. Come on. Joking around there. Little bit of levity to Jerry announcing the game. He did want me. He called me last night, and he wanted me to let y'all know he'll be back next game. He misses you guys, but he knows you'll be watching. So he did want me to pass that along. Hope Jerry can give If You Don't Like That. Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen, Cody. I would be a little surprised if that were to happen tonight. Don't hold your breath on it. What's up, Flores? Really interesting, by the way, as I bring up the preview for tonight and I continue to talk. If I can get to my right screen, there we go. That's the one that I want. And completely wrong setup. There we go. Really interesting to note. So as you know, the Denver Nuggets just fired Michael Malone, one of the most respected coaches in the NBA, one of the most tenured coaches in the NBA. Won a championship 2 years ago, ex-Kings coach that cannot stand this owner. Just so I'm putting that in. So anybody that's like, oh, we should go get Michael Malone. It's not happening. Michael Malone is not coming to Sacramento. But a major change there. They have lost the Nuggets 3-7, or they've lost 3, or excuse me, They've lost 4 in a row, and they are 3-7 in their last 10. I'm so excited for Jerry that I forgot how to talk. So definitely a little bit of a dark cloud, but it's also the second time that we've seen a playoff coach fired towards the end of the season. Now, what makes this one really interesting is David Adelman. Yes, that Adelman, son of legendary Sacramento coach Rick Adelman. And let me educate you on it, Horse. Portland Trailblazers head coach. Rick Adelman is the interim coach for Denver. Very interesting circumstances that his first game will be here in Sacramento. More interesting than that is this. He did some media availability for the first time earlier tonight, and it was much of what you would expect. Much about what Coach Malone had meant to the team, what Coach Malone had built in Denver, excitement about taking it over. But then he talked about how the team needed a different, it needed a different vibe. They needed a different, and I'm paraphrasing here, they needed to hear the messaging in a different tone. Maybe it wasn't getting through the way that it was being messaged. He was hinting at that maybe the players were sick of Mike Malone getting on their asses, and that bled into the locker room. Now, that's speculation, but for him to come out and say that, you know, it's a big marriage and not everybody communicates the same way, and you know how Coach Malone's pretty fiery, I found that to be very newsworthy and notable for him to kind of lay that out. And David Adelman, much more soft-spoken, but confident. No doubt about that. He thinks he knows what he's doing. He does. Grew up around basketball. What his dad's done. He is a guy that was in line to be a head coach somewhere. So funny how that is all going to play into tonight, a game that both teams need desperately. And if I'm being quite honest, Denver needs this one more than the Kings tonight, as crazy as that sounds. So that's kind of your setup for what we're looking at tonight with the Kings and the Nugs. If you're looking for me to point out where I think the Kings have an advantage and where I think the Nuggets can hurt the Kings, I don't know, because this is going to be a team most likely in Denver, if they haven't already announced it, that is without Jamal Murray again, which means Jokic is a different Jokic. Now, they've lost 4 in a row, but Sacramento struggles with Jokic. They actually played well against him with Jake LaRavia. LaRavia is still not available for the Kings. And conversely, for Sacramento, what's this going to look like without Malik Monk? And especially, what is this going to look like on the front line without Keegan Murray and Jake LaRavia? Those are two big pieces playing a team like Denver. What is Coach Christie going to do down low? Most likely it will be Trey Lyles in the starting lineup, but he's been hesitant to go to that double big lineup. And conversely, I said you need to play more to the Levine pace than a DeRozan pace, and JV, for as well as he plays, a little bit more of that DeRozan pace. So a lot of unknowns for these two teams tonight, but definitely looking forward to it. Let's get you up in here on the action as we continue to look at some stats for the Kings. We will also look at the Nuggets stats over the last 4 games. Oh, wow. The computer's freezing up. Here we go. The computer is seizing. Y'all know what that means. If you're around here during the day for the Kings Court, we have a sound for this. Yep, I am. Let me get my dial-up internet going really quick.
Dong, dong, dong. Yeah.
As we wait for the internet, we can talk about Russell Westbrook. That was the guy that I was going to show you. Russell Westbrook has been a problem for the Kings, especially this year. He's averaging 20.3 points against the Kings. They're going to have to find an answer for him tonight. That begins with Keon Ellis, and it begins with your big 3 here in Sacramento now. Your big 3. This is closer to the Bulls now ever than it was before, now that Malik is out, because you are going to rely so heavily on Zach LaVine, so heavily on DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis. If he can get his triple-double in there and the Kings can stay out of foul trouble tonight, that will be absolutely key to what they are going to do, as my screens will not come back to me. Here we go. There we go. We can look at what the Kings are doing as we talk about it. Let's get to some of your comments. In the meantime, what are your expectations tonight? Yeah, you've got mail, right? Hang. Whenever the computer freezes up, that's what we go to. And then everybody starts busting out their jokes about me having a potato that I put an antenna into, me not reordering my AOL discs. They just start flooding in all at once. So, in fact, you know what? Here's David Adelman. I think it's, 8 minutes. I'll vet it as we continue looking through the chat. Doug Christie, though, earlier tonight.
Hey, Doug, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got the news that Malik's going to be out for 2 weeks. You guys signed Terrence Davis, no Keegan. Where are you at with TD and what he can bring to this team? You were here on the staff while he was part of this team before.
I think TD brings a high-level shooter, brings some energy, obviously, athleticism. He does know the system pretty much. We do some different things than when he was here, but nothing that, as a basketball player, he won't understand and know how to pick up. So, yeah.
Yeah, Paul, two things can be true at once. And, there's definitely a sandbox to play in where you can be grateful for the team being saved, but also as a fan be entitled to a respectable and well-ran franchise. At the prices you pay to go to games, the prices you pay for merch, etc. So there's some middle ground there. No doubt about it. Back to Doug.
Shoot the ball. You're open. He's a spacer. He can knock down shots. We saw him get on the heater and knock down shots at a high clip.
Hey, Doug. Can you just speak to kind of Malik's season? He's averaging career highs, in points, rebounds, assists, and just what he means to the team, how unfortunate it is for him and the team that this happened now.
Super unfortunate because we depend on him a lot in many ways. He is the leader of the team. Definitely on the emotional side, a lot of, the energy, the things that go on in the locker room, practice, like he's the head of the snake in many ways. So he'll still obviously be around, but 2 weeks is 2 weeks. And, we need him. We need Malik's energy. We need his shooting, his athleticism. I mean, the one thing that when I think about Malik is like you have the ability to play with anybody because you can do so many different things and do much.
Hey, Joseph, I respect you being here, my man, but how many years ago was that? And no disrespect. I mean, time and place, but you're entitled to your opinion, just time and place. I don't think that it's necessarily relevant right now, and I don't want to put the spotlight on you because I have not seen all of the chat yet. But be excited for Jerry tonight. I think most of us are.
Given much as expected. So he has the ability to play in pick and roll, hit the pocket. He can spread it to the corner. He can knock down a three. He can knock down a deep three. He can play above the rim. He finishes with both hands. Like he's got a mid-range game. He knocks down free throws at a high clip. It's just, his ability to process that when he's out there, but he is desperately and deeply going to be missed.
As they've gotten more time sharing the floor together, how have you seen Zach and Domas develop a chemistry, and where do you notice that?
Both of those guys are such high-level players. I think even on some of the DHOs, when I'm looking, like I've seen Domas bounce it behind him. I've seen him advance it to him and then run into a pick and roll. I've seen him pitch it to him the other night as he's coming off. Like those are things that you have to talk through a little bit. You have to learn how a player likes passes because, we've had players here that depended on Domas to come off and bounce the ball and then set a screen to get them open. And
first warning, my man Joseph, don't make me block you. I don't block a lot of people. You got to do a lot to get blocked. But can we keep it to basketball tonight? Or at least if you want to have this discussion, have it with Grant. You don't need to have it on my show. I would appreciate that. I put a lot of work into these shows if you didn't know, Joseph. So anyways, getting back to tonight, I was talking about Russell Westbrook. He has just been a problem for the Kings this year? Can the Kings find an answer to him? And really, Russell Westbrook, for the first time in a long time, has taken on a role, something that he has not been super willing to do throughout his career. He wanted to be the man all the time. Now he's playing a damn good role in Denver, and it has worked up until this point. So can the Kings slow him down? Because you cannot have a game where the Kings have played against Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's played in some of these meetings, but you're getting 20.3 from Westbrook a night. That's got to be much better. So does that come down on Keon? Does that come down on the guards? I think it's a little bit of each. But what worries me in this matchup between these two teams is you have two teams, like I said at the beginning, that are both a little bit like fish out of water. It's going to be Jokic without Murray. It's going to be the Kings without Monk. And as for Terrence Davis, I don't expect him to really get much playing time at all. And for those that were asking the question, because it was debated yesterday on this show and on this channel about why did the Kings go to Davis? Why didn't they look at a different pool? Because you do have somebody in the G League right now in your system that's averaging almost 9 points more than what Terrence Davis averaged in the G League. And this is the only question that I'm going to answer about that, because there was a little bit of gray area about how the Kings can sign a G League player. And I found it to be a little bit interesting. It was something I didn't know. And I'm cool admitting that. Anybody who is not on a two-way contract in the G League or assigned to the G League from the main roster, how Devin Carter went down and played for about a week and a half. Every other player in the G League is under contract with the G League. They are not under contract with the teams, meaning any team can come in and sign a player from any organization so long as they are not a two-way or on assignment. So the Kings decided to go with Terrence Davis. If the Kings need Terrence Davis to make this run, then it's going to be a bigger problem. He has not played in the NBA since 22-23. So what to expect from him? Not sure. I'm not expecting a ton. I think you should keep your eyes more on Devin Carter. This gives Devin Carter the ability to know that he's going to have some runway in front of him tonight. And I think Devin Carter plays much better with runway in front of him. As for the Nuggets, I told you they've lost 4 in a row. And it's like, what's going on? Lost 3 of their last 7. I really haven't looked this over a ton. These are their stats over the last 4 games. And I'm wondering what's different. Look, they're still averaging 29.5 assists. That's pretty darn good. So what is it about this team? 74% from the free throw line. That's not great. Not great at all, especially when you're getting 25 free throws. But that doesn't make a 4-game losing streak. Field goal percentage, 50.1%. And then it hit me. Look at where Denver's shooting the 3 ball. They're shooting the 3 ball at 32.1% right now. So that to me is one thing that we can definitely point to besides the front line matchups and playing without fouling, being physical without fouling, that is going to be a key to this game, as it's a key to every game that the Kings play in. But that is what has thrown Denver off. They're not shooting the 3 ball well. So can the Kings continue that trend? Can they put some pressure on them? Again, continue to play up tempo. That is your best Kings basketball typically. So what are your thoughts? What are your keys? You are welcome to call the show. If you'd like to do that, I'll put the link back in the chat. You can keep putting your messages in. We will get to those as well. Those paying attention, by the way, the Stockton Kings lost last night in Osceola. Tough travel, by the way. Very tough travel for a G League team that just played on Sunday night. They were tied at halftime. They had a chance to win that game. Just got out hustled, and you expected it. Considering the circumstances, they put up a great effort. Friday night, both teams will be on equal rest, equal travel, and expect a dandy. Yes, I'm going to steal my partner's word. A dandy on Friday night in Stockton. It is win or go home on Friday night for the Stockton Kings. So go support them as well. Dallas Lakers game. 3-point game. All right, getting closer. What'd y'all think about Luka's ejection last night? Anybody have an opinion on that? Also, how about Jalen Wells? That was a terrifying fall. I know we talked about it earlier. Very, very scary stuff. Denver defense sucks. That's the problem. But what do you mean by runway for Devin Carter? What I mean is there's been two different Devin Carters that we've seen this season. And actually, I would propose to you that you've seen on this last road trip. You saw the Devin Carter that knew he was going to get limited playing time. So he was coming in and he was more or less a bowling ball going down a lane with the bumpers up, just bouncing back and forth, fouling people. He fouled out within 14 minutes. But then when Devin had Malik Monk go out, he knew he was going to have to play some extended minutes. So he dialed it back a little bit, and he was a little bit looser. He decided to try to make a couple plays. He took some shots. What I'm saying is it's the same formula that we kind of saw with Davion Mitchell last season at this time. When Davion knew that he was going to get playing time and he wasn't looking over his shoulder, I think it affects the way that he plays, or he played. And certainly for a rookie like Devin Carter, who has not played a ton this season and did not get an off season, that makes a huge difference if you're not looking over your shoulder and you know you're penciled in for 25 minutes and you're going to be relied upon. So that's what I mean by runway. So good question there. Here comes 5. No coach, Murray or GM, Sabonis can go battle with Jokic. Usually those two cancel each other out for the most part. And respectfully, they both have good games, but nobody usually gets the best of the other. Last game, that wasn't so true, or 2 games ago, that was not so true. But you got to have a night like that. Doug's got to have an answer. And here's the other name that I'm going to give you that is going to be really important tonight. I think it's going to be Isaac Jones. If I am Monty McNair, if I am Doug Christie, if I was Mike Brown at the start of the season and I'm looking at Isaac Jones, I'm evaluating Isaac Jones, and I'm wondering what spots is this guy useful? Where could he give us those minutes and in what games? Denver is a team that immediately comes to mind, because you've got to deal with Aaron Gordon. You've got to deal with Michael Porter Jr. And IJ's got the athletic ability, the raw athletic ability to match them. But can he do it without fouling? Can he be disciplined? He can play above the rim. That is something that your 2 other centers do not do for the most part. So I think he will also be important to tonight. But pace is everything against this Denver team. It is absolutely everything. And Zach LaVine, it's got to have another night. Got to have another night. And maybe we can continue to find out more about this team, because those last 2 games where Zach poured in a combined 80 points, those 2 games looked like Zach LaVine from Chicago to me. One of the first times this season. So Donald is happy for Jerry. Me too. I'm very happy for Jerry as well. Cody, I don't know. I do not know. It's Mark Jones is not calling the Dallas game. They've got their A team down there. So my guess is Mark is probably doing ESPN here in Sacramento, and Jerry is going to work with Drapes. And that's the way that I hope it works out. But I could be wrong. The last that I talked to Jerry, he was unsure about who he would be working with. Jerry back on the broadcast. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Athena. Appreciate that. All good, Joseph. I appreciate your contributions. It's not my conversation. We've got better things to talk about, like the Kings and the Nuggets. What's the spread tonight, by the way? And which way are you going? I know some of you have been betting on this stuff and putting super chats in if the Kings win. The Kings are 4.5-point underdogs in this one tonight. 4.5 points. Jamal Murray officially out. So there you go. It's going to be a fun game. Looking forward to it. What are your predictions for this one, actually? What are you thinking? I think you're going to have a close game. to the half, and I think the third quarter is going to be really important. I think the third quarter is going to be where the rubber is going to meet the road for these two teams. And Jokic, can you get creative if you're Doug Christie? How are you going to get creative defensively without Keegan Murray? That is a huge loss defensively. Massive loss. So give me your scores. Give me your thoughts. It started at 3 for the Kings this morning? No way. The Kings were not favored by 3. Are you serious, PK? No, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Nick's going money line. All right, I see you. I would do that too. That's how I would play that too. 100%. If I played, which I do not. No, he's not. Not to me, no. Terrence, guys, I can't reinforce this enough, guys and gals. Terrence Davis has not played in an NBA game since 22-23, the Beam Team year. He has not played in an NBA game. So I'm not hating on Terrence Davis. I'm just saying, I know he played in the G League. That is a step down from the NBA. And those are guys that are on the way up. He's more on the way down. So I don't think Terrence Davis is going to play tonight. I would expect you see Doug McDermott before you see Terrence Davis tonight. That would be my guess. Terrence Davis is your break the glass in case of emergency. I would be shocked if he is in Doug's rotation. Shocked. And I'll come up here and say I'm wrong. If at halftime Terrence Davis has played 9 minutes and is doing well, I hope he does. I just don't see it. Nick, we're going to see if Zach is serious tonight. Yeah, you know, that's what it is. This entire thing, however Doug Christie is going to orchestrate it tonight, needs to be around Zach because Domas is going to Domas. And Domas is going to have his hands full with Jokic anyways. So you run everything around Zach. And then you switch things up with DeMar. You let DeMar pick his spots. I thought the Kings in the closing minutes of the last game were really smart about that. That's when they went to a couple possessions of ISO, and that's when they put the game out of reach instead of doing it way early in the fourth quarter. So I'm running everything around Zach, and I am not asking Zach to create whatsoever. I am asking Zach to make buckets. Don't create for your teammates, make buckets. Now, here's my other key. If you are open, shoot the ball. If you are Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, do not give up wide open looks to try to draw fouls, to try to get a step closer. You got to shoot the ball, especially now that you don't have that extra spark like Malik Monk coming off of the bench tonight. Don't forget, we are back all night long. Unfortunately, our man,
Holy moly, Zimbabwe,
is doing the broadcast, so he will not be with us, but Grant and I will be here breaking down the first half. Make sure you join us at halftime. We'll be live right as soon as the game goes to intermission, and then post-game is when we take your calls, and we might be talking about the Kings with the 9 seed locked up. We will see. Time will tell. The Kings need to win, and the Mavericks need to lose. And don't forget, and by the way, the Mavericks right now, late in the fourth quarter, down 10 points. Down 10 points late in the fourth. So the Mavs look like they are on their way to losing. The Kings, can they do their part? Don't forget this too. This is a massive, massive, massive game. Massive for Denver. First game for David Adelman taking over. Is that locker room going to be, you remember how the Kings got that bump with the coaching change? Is that going to happen for Denver? And Denver needs this game, by the way. If we haven't looked at the NBA standings right now, Denver needs this game in the worst way. The Western Conference right now is so deadlocked. You have many teams that see themselves right now in the playoffs that easily could fall to the play-in. Look at how many teams with 32 losses right there. So Denver cannot afford to lose another game. And by the way, I'm not sure. You guys are already watching. I love it. We're going to get out early so you can go catch the pregame with Jerry. But yeah, I'm not sure. Could Denver fall to the play-in if this slide continues? So a lot of questions. We're going to get some answers here in a little bit. More importantly, super excited that
Holy moly, Zimbabwe.
we are going to have Jerry doing the game tonight. Enjoy the first half, y'all. Appreciate you for being here. Give us a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it as well. So have fun. Great to have Jerry back in the saddle for a night. And hopefully we are talking about a Kings W, or at the very least, a very good first half. We will see you here in about 24 game minutes. We'll see you in about an hour and 15 minutes. Right back here on the channel. Grant and myself breaking down the first half for you. Remember, keys for me, a Levine pace, not a DeRozan pace. You can't let Denver get right from beyond the arc. You're going to have to be able to get something from the front line, including IJ, I think, in this one, and everything around Zach LaVine. That's where it's at tonight. Physical without fouling. All right, we will see you in about an hour. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your night with Jerry as well. Talk to you soon.